Welcome to Revenge of the Podcast.
I knew you were going to do that.
I didn't either. I'm going with the flow.
No.
Power! I'm Griffin Newman.
I'm David Sims.
That's the Griffin and Dave present Revenge of the Podcast.
Supreme Chancellor edition.
This is our Supreme Chancellor edition of Revenge of the Podcast. For those of you who don't know, jump in on this episode. Bad episode to jump in. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, seriously. It all comes down.
We're going to talk about a lot of things in spoilerific detail. This is a podcast about, it's become about George Lucas's Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
of course.
and the machinations of Chancellor Palpatine.
Yeah.
That's what the podcast has really been about the whole time. I think he's been pulling the strings behind the podcast.
So George Lucas's divisive, massively popular Star Wars trilogy, which of course we know consists of 3 films, The Phantom Menace, Attack the Clones.
That's right. That was the number. I was trying to remember the second one there.
And Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. That was the final
That's
one.
a trilogy. That's 3 movies.
1,
and
2,
that's
3.
done. And
99, 02, 05.
You only make 3 movies. Some of us like to call it the Phantom Menace trilogy. That's what I like to call it.
You like to call it that.
I do. Because
That's
it's like, you call Dark Knight a Batman movie, even though it doesn't have the word Batman in it.
They do say the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, but those people are dumbos. I hate the fact that the third one's called The Dark Knight Rises.
Me too. It's so stupid.
Because it's like calling it like The Dark Knight 2.
But what should it be called?
Gotham City.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. Not Hole Prison?
Oh, Whole Prison would
Prison
be a
in
good
a
title,
Hole.
too.
It's like Snakes on a Plane. Prison in a Hole.
It'd be a good one. Okay, little housekeeping.
Snakes on a Bane.
Oh, okay, David. Congratulations. You made it funny. David's laughing really, really hard. Like preposterously hard. He's laughing like Mordecai levels.
Let me find that picture.
Oh, don't. I won't be able to keep it together. Seriously, if you show me that picture, I will not be able to keep it together. Don't. I'm actually serious that you shouldn't do this.
The more you say this, the more I want to do it.
Don't know because we have it is God. I'm just thinking about a Mordecai.
And you're not looking.
Yeah, no, I see it.
Oh no, it changed.
Oh no, good. Oh, get it back. Get it
I
back.
see a funny one.
Yes,
Ben's laughing.
He's on the front of a car.
Yeah.
Boy. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So here's some housekeeping up at the top. We got some very important business to cover up at the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have some housekeeping. I have some things to talk about.
Okay.
I have a checklist of things to talk about.
He's loading a checklist on his iTelephone.
The Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi. In
The Wi-Fi in here is the worst.
You sound like a cop in the Robert Zemeckis film The Walk.
Really?
They're always like, "Hey, what you do? Get out of here! You're on a wire! Hey, it's a freaking frog on a wire!"
I still think one of the best lines of all time is in Shutter Island when DiCaprio goes, "We are duly appointed federal marshal." And because that movie got pushed back, we had to see that trailer for like 9 months.
Oh, totally.
So that one line just like got stuck in your craw. Okay, here's the first thing I'm looking for. As we talked about many a time. Can I not pull this up? How to fucking...
You remember how Nicole Kidman is also in the Cold Mountain trailer? Like her accent was right at the top of that, and it was so bad. So much time has passed since you left.
Mm-hmm.
She really couldn't get that accent.
How do we see...
I'm just sort of vamping while you find us whatever the fucking
how
thing
do
you're
we
trying
see
to find.
fucking review? There's a review. Okay, so
Oh, you're finding iTunes reviews.
No, but this is one actually worth reading. You're going to see why.
Okay.
Okay, so I got it. Okay. So, yeah, we always
Please
talk
review
about...
our podcast on iTunes.
Review our
David,
podcast.
Griffin and David present.
Listen, check. You're doing that right now.
Boom.
Subscribe.
Please do.
Yeah, just put a ring on it. That's all we're asking.
You got to put a ring
You
on
know, if you're listening, just put a ring on it.
Okay.
And
then
put a
rate
ring
and
on that
review.
robot hand. And then rate and review. If you're lazy, just give us some stars. Here's a suggestion.
Throw us 5.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Easy pick.
Two more than there are Star Wars movies.
We're not going to make you... Exactly. That's how you remember how many stars to give
You
us.
take as many Star Wars movies as exist, and then you add 2.
You get to
2 for Griffin and David.
the podcasting too.
Exactly.
You add the number.
Number of hosts, not participants
Yep.
in this podcast. Forget Ben.
Okay, well, that's important.
He's not part of that formula.
That is important. What you just said is
That's
important.
branding.
Exactly.
That's branding.
Oh, happy International World Podcast Day or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's Ben's birthday.
It's basically my birthday.
It's
Thank
your
you,
birthday.
guys. Thank you.
birthday
You're
Benny.
welcome. So,
Then, of course, his birthday Benny, a.k.a. producer Ben Hosley, a.k.a. Purdue Ben, a.k.a. Ben Deucer, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. Hello Fennel,
a.k.a. the Haas.
a.k.a. The Haas.
Hi, Ben.
Sup?
What's this review you
I'm
want to
going to read this review.
Okay.
And the other thing to point out is just listen to other UCB comedy podcasts.
Of course, Menage a Trois Radio.
Because they're all
Long
Ben's
form.
babies, and we're his favorite baby, but you got to listen to all the
UCB
other baby
Digital.
podcasts.
What's the other one that I'm forgetting right now?
So you're going.
So you're going through a breakup.
Yeah.
Is there another one?
You tell it.
You tell it.
Long form
No,
conversation.
you
I
tell
think
it.
I said long.
No, Ben,
I
you
like
tell
long
it.
form.
Tell it.
Guys,
tell
what
us
did I
the name
say
of the
last
podcast.
episode? I'm going to say it again. No bits.
Okay, cut all of this out.
Also, there's a UCB hub on iTunes now.
That's
where you
true.
can find us all.
Yes.
Okay, cut all this out. This is the start of the episode.
Cut it
Hello, I'm Griffin.
And here's your review.
This is Griffin Day present Revenge of the Reviews, where we read reviews of our podcast. I really like this review. It's from 23 Green. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
What I like about this show is the characters. Now, I know that oftentimes when I spotlight a review, it's because I said something nice about me and I want to pat myself on the back,
please
but that's not
read
what's
the
happening
review.
here, okay? They're all funny and great in different ways. You can tell David is used to hanging around a more professional office environment. He has more of a filter than Griffin,
Marginally true.
who is around comedians and actors all the time, so he's more loosey-goosey, dirty-mouthed boy.
That's fair. That's fair. Actually, that's a good observation.
Yep. David is less emotionally attached to the films than Griffin, who genuinely tries to find good things about them but usually fails.
It's interesting because I'm certainly very emotionally attached, but you are. It's impossible to beat you on that front.
Yeah,
Your emotional attachment is the name of your game.
I fall in love with everything.
Of course.
If it were the Avengers, I feel like David would be Captain America.
Okay.
Griffin would be Iron Man.
Sure.
I think I'm like the Hulk.
Yeah, I'd love to be
all
Thor,
emotion,
but go on.
You know, I'm less powerful Hulk, but the same kind of unbridled.
Yeah.
Whatever. And Ben would probably be maybe
Nick Fury?
Agent Coulson.
Agent Coulson, sure. Yeah.
But they wrote B ... maybe ...
Oh, yeah, I see. You're
Agent Coulson. Producer Ben is the most relatable character and gives the show humanity. Low key, really the protagonist of the show.
because we're doing this to him.
He's the man who lets us relate.
It's like once a week, these two insane demons invade his studio and make him listen to. Go on.
He went from having low self-esteem and feeling bad about turning 30 to being on a path to feeling better about himself now. You can tell he's coming into his nickname, Mr. Positive.
Hey.
Wow.
There's an arc.
Anyway, it's a great show. I hope it continues if they discover there to be any other Star Wars sequels in the future. I mean,
Wait, that's preposterous.
Disney might make one.
No,
but
that's preposterous.
if they were to start making one tomorrow,
Yeah.
start pre-production development.
Sure.
We wouldn't get it for 3 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
So we'll do some other shit in between. But
Any directors you'd love to see make a Star Wars movie?
God, I think Brad Bird could make a great Star Wars movie.
I know.
I'll tell you who's top of my list to not make a Star Wars movie.
Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit.
Fuck Colin Trevorrow.
I hope he falls back down the pit where he came from.
Yeah.
The jail hole.
Yeah. Snakes on a Bane.
Snakes on a bait. Okay, so that order of business, done.
Please review us on
By the way.
iTunes. Here we go. It's time. Are you ready?
Nope, because I have more housekeeping business. Housekeeping business, point 2, I saw Hotel Transylvania. I give it a 6.5.
You saw Hotel Transylvania too.
I also saw Hotel Transylvania 2. I saw Hotel Transylvania 2, comma, 2. God damn it.
And
Ben,
you
cut
gave-
all this out. New start of the episode. Hi, this is Griffin. Welcome to Griffin Day Present Attack the Podcast. Fuck. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Griffin,
this is Griffin Newman.
Griffin.
Welcome to Griffin
No
Day
bits.
Present Revenge of the Podcast. First of all, right off the bat, I saw Hotel Transylvania 2. I gave it a 6.5.
And you gave the first one like an 8, you told me? Maybe
yeah,
8.5?
yeah, it depends on the
So
day.
it was a come down. It was not as good.
It's still fun. It's got great character animation. Jenny Tartovsky is one of the only people really pushing squash and stretch principles in mainstream
Is it just-
feature film animation.
Is it lacking in plot? Is it lacking in like the same kind of like emotional story?
I'd argue it has too much plot. I'd argue the plot changes every 10 minutes.
Okay, interesting.
It's like a series of different like one-reelers.
I hate this is sensitive.
Yeah.
This is a sensitive topic. But is it the lack of CeeLo Green?
There's
Is that the
definitely-
difference? Is that the 2 stars?
It's missing a sense of danger.
All right, that's enough of that. What's your other housekeeping?
Case in point of Hotel Transylvania 2's sloppiness, the main antagonist who the final fight scene happens against is introduced 10 minutes before the final fight scene happens.
All right.
There's a lot of that kind of business.
Yeah, it's sort of like Haywire in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, next point of business.
Next point of business. I read something very disturbing a couple weeks ago, and I forgot to bring it in until now.
Okay.
But I think it's important, especially after what we discussed last week. Do you know that on a recent list of the 1,000 most popular baby names in America, according to the Social Security Administration. This is a very official list. Anakin was number 957.
So he just crept in the bottom there. He's finally on the top 1,000.
But that amounts to 218
babies
yes.
a year.
So just for comparison, the other baby names, male baby names tied for 218 are Emmett, Baylor, Judson.
What? Judson is not a name.
And Truman. Now, Truman and Emmett are real person names.
They are just about. Emmett, you don't know a lot of Trumans. Name. No, it is. It's just, Emmett,
Truman, a president. We have a president after.
That was his last name.
Emmett Otter.
Emmett Otter, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The Truman Show.
No, yeah, I mean, that's what I think of when I think of
Right, his
Truman.
name was Truman Show.
His name was Truman
and we
Burbank,
called him
wasn't it?
Like, it's the James Brown.
Isn't it his last name is Burbank because, like, the studio is in Burbank?
Yeah, I think
he's like owned by a corporation.
Name, right? Yeah. Anyway.
I love that movie.
Anakin is a name that was created by a maniac, a soulless sociopath named George Lucas.
Yep.
And now we know that this franchise, this trilogy, is about watching him murder children.
Mm-hmm.
So to the 218...
And strangle his wife. And abuse his wife. And I'm not even fucking joking. Like, it's insane what he does to his wife.
To the 218...
Anakin's.
Parents,
sure.
Who named their child Anakin in 2014, knowing all that we know right now. Go fuck yourself. You're a bunch of Sith Lords.
What's wrong with you? Bunch of Sith Lords. 218 people who won't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen. You cannot. You are not allowed to listen to this podcast.
All right.
Final order of business.
My God.
It's a segue.
Okay.
And I ain't talking about the...
You're not talking about the people moving piece of transportation.
Thing.
Yeah.
Right. This is a transition to our topic today. Corrections Department. Last week, I said that post Mace Windu fight... Can you turn up the volume of my headphones a little bit? Because I want to hear this correction clearly. Okay. This is... No, because this is a big controversy.
Post Mace Windu fight.
I have to address this.
With Palpatine.
Post Mace Windu fight with Palpatine, I said that Palpatine's face transforms and he looks like Mumbles from Dick Tracy.
Uh-oh. It wasn't Mumbles.
Incorrect.
Mumbles is Dustin Hoffman's character. Yep. I'm just remembering that. He doesn't really have makeup.
No, I was thinking of The Influence.
Yeah.
The Influence has a big bumpy brow and beady dark eyes.
There are a lot of Dick Tracy characters
yes.
who have weird made-up faces.
Yeah.
But Mumbles is not really one of them. I think he has like a nose, maybe.
No, it's his mouth is to the side.
Yeah,
Mumbles.
right.
His mouth is to the side. I always think that The Influence is named Mumbles because his forehead is mumbly.
Right, well.
But when I realize when I say it's mumbly, I'm meaning to say it's bumpy. It's a horrific mistake. But it gets us on to our topic for today, which is...
Chancellor Palpatine.
A.K.A.
Darth Sidious.
A.K.A. Senator Palpatine, a.k.a. Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
A.k.a. Mr. Positive.
He's very positive in this movie. This movie just breaks right for him every single story turn.
Look, I mean, as that review stated, Ben is really kind of like the anti-Anakin of this podcast.
Okay.
But he's also sort of the anti-Palpatine, because Palpatine turned 30, and then he just went crazy for power. He didn't know how to deal with it.
Is that right? That's in the Wikipedia. It's 30 when he...
Palpatine, yeah. He hit the dirty 30, and he went crazy for power.
Because, we don't know much about him. Like, his backstory.
Mm-mm.
Not in the movies, certainly not.
No, and one could argue his backstory might be more interesting than the backstories of the characters we got.
It's probably more interesting the backstory of the random guy who becomes his assistant. You know?
Yep.
Like, this is like you made a 3-part trilogy about Igor.
Yep.
You know, like, what happened to Igor? Why does he look so weird? Let's make 3 movies about that. Child Igor, teen Igor, grown-up Igor. Oh, he gets disfigured, and then he starts working for Dr. Frankenstein.
You joke. I think that is genuinely the hook of Victor Frankenstein in theaters this November.
With Daniel Radcliffe as Igor.
And he doesn't have a hunch in it.
Yeah, he's handsome.
And they've said that it's kind of an origin story for Igor, and it hopefully has franchise potential. So,
you know what?
Fuck the world.
And who's playing Frankenstein?
James McAvoy, one of our great actors.
I love him. You know what? I'm excited for that movie. You know why?
Why?
I like Daniel Radcliffe.
I do too. I like the two of them.
I've really come around to Daniel Radcliffe.
I like that. The two of them. I think they're both fine actors. I think that movie looks like
really a terrific actor.
Bowl full of ball hair and milk.
Yeah, that's probably true.
A bunch of testy pubes.
You know, I could see Pan tonight. That's all supposed to be really bad. That's all supposed to have a midi-chlorian problem.
David, let's stay focused. I don't know why
it's
you're
just sort of
going on
connected
these
to
side
Star
tangents.
Wars because it has this. Apparently, it's like
He's
I don't
got
know.
the magic pan, and the pan gives him the flight dust.
Yeah,
and
it's
whatever.
like fairy dust is basically a scientific substance you can mine from like asteroids.
Really? Fuck everything.
Anyway,
God.
I know, it's a bummer.
When's someone going to give us $200 million to make a movie? The three of us.
We would fuck it up so
No,
hard.
we
Are you
wouldn't.
kidding
No
me?
way.
It'd be such a good movie,
It
right,
would be
Ben?
a really good movie.
No one would want to make it.
I'm full of ideas.
Ben, give us a quick pitch. We're going to...
Oh, you're saying we shouldn't get sidetracked. Now you're asking Ben to pitch a movie.
Every 15 minutes, I'm going to throw to Ben. He's going to give us a quick pitch. Ben, quick pitch.
All right,
$200 million.
One sentence.
But it has to fill $200 million worth of budget.
Okay, it's an organization that you hire to play pranks on people who were mean to you in high school.
Okay, that's
So
the plot
sure-
of Dirty Work. Okay, let's go on.
Oh fuck, you're right.
That's the plot of Dirty Work.
All right.
And it's at most a $20 million budget.
But we'll-
Palpatine.
let's bring it back.
Okay. we'll
No,
reboot
Dirty Work, but with like an Ocean's 11 cast.
I want to
Maybe
see
you
the
could-
origin. I want to see like how they became Dirty Work. Let's do 6 movies. Okay, fuck everything, fuck the world,
Palpatine.
cut everything, start over.
This
Hi,
movie,
this is Griffin
I
Newman.
don't want
welcome
to do
Griffin
this
Day
starting
Present.
over bit. We've done that too many
No bits,
times.
no bits.
Emperor Palpatine
Mm-hmm.
is a basic bitch.
So here's let's just very briefly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to recount his arc over these 3 movies. Movie 1, he's a senator
Just a senator.
from a little planet called Naboo,
Much
little
beloved.
backwater planet,
Much beloved.
a happily regarded senator,
Uh-huh.
and as a result of the military crisis that breaks out on Naboo and the fall of the former chancellor, he's elevated to chancellor.
Yep.
Number 2, he's the chancellor. He's kind of like beyond his term at this point, or maybe he's about to be.
Yeah, he's got like 2 scenes in it. He's barely in it.
And the crisis of the Clone War
Whether or not to militarize.
lets him to literally like extend his term sort of permanently. It's kind of like a Reichstag fire.
Yes.
And then in this movie,
And he militarizes.
and he militarizes. This movie, the Clone Wars end, he's taken prisoner, but then released by the Jedis, and then revealed to be the Dark Lord Sidious, who's been playing the other side,
Yeah.
and executes all of the Jedis and becomes Supreme Chancellor of the galaxy with no one to contest his rule, and also his face melts off, and also he gets a new apprentice.
And he looks like
The Influence.
the influence from Dick Tracy.
Oh, and
Google
also
the influence.
Yeah. And also he goes to an opera.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through all of what you just said in tremendous detail.
Okay.
Beginning of the film. He's been kidnapped by General Coughs a Lot.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Robitussin,
Ooh, that's good. That's real good.
Thank you.
Did you think of that beforehand?
just now.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Lord Robitussin.
So they
Jedis.
storm into this room.
Yep.
They, when I say they, I mean Jedis.
Yeah, yeah,
Get with
Obi-Wan
the
and
program.
Anakin.
This is like fucking episode 26 of this show. Whatever. They Jedis enter the room. They see a spooky chair. It turns around slowly. Grievous
Spooky
is
chair.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly
No, no.
calm.
You mean Sidious.
Sidious.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you know,
Sidious.
Palpatine.
Yes. Palpatine. Weirdly calm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've arrived. Like that kind of.
Hello.
Oh,
Watch out, though.
Oh,
it's
almost,
a Sith Lord.
almost didn't see you there.
Mhm.
You know. Dooku comes in, flubbers a bunch. Kenobi's knocked
as
out,
we've talked about, Anakin
decapitated.
pins him,
Yeah.
and on Palpatine's advice, decapitates
And he does this
Dooku.
like, good,
and,
Anakin,
and
good.
Dooku gives Palpatine one last pleading look before he dies. Palpatine ignores. It's obviously like Palpatine's like, you're old news, meet the new news.
Right. And he does this good, yes, Anakin, do it.
Good, Anakin.
Do it.
Do it.
Right. Okay.
Do
so
it.
Already a little weird. Different than we've seen.
Do it. Do it.
Different than we've seen him act in the previous movies. Openly.
Yeah, absolutely. In the first movie, he's very pleasant.
And he's really like chipper. He's
I know,
like,
he's
"Oh,
quite.
I'm the
and it's
senator."
the only movie I think in which McDermott is not wearing any makeup.
No.
In the second movie, he's older. He's got more wrinkles. His hair's a little shorter.
Like some apple.
And instead
peels
of
on his
being
face,
dressed
yeah.
in these like nice sort of blue and green kind of marine-like robes, he's in black.
Yes.
Third movie, more black.
A lot of red too. A lot of deep
His
crimson reds.
throne room or whatever his offices
Yeah.
are red, red, red.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like Sith, Sith, Sith.
Yeah.
Hey, anyone that's checked out, I like red.
Black and red. That's all I'm about.
Yep.
It's implied that he has taken a real shine to Anakin in the years in between these movies.
Yeah, he's been keeping his eye on him, and I assume that's explored in the Clone Wars cartoon series, perhaps.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
But he's you know they say do it.
Do it.
For the first time, like kind of taking direct like command over Anakin, and Anakin doesn't really hesitate. He does it because he's told.
He regrets it, but he follows orders.
Wasn't supposed to do that. Okay? So the movie goes ahead. There's a meeting with Anakin and Palpatine in the office.
Yeah.
And he's like, big fan of your stuff, Anakin. Really like what you're doing. Anakin's like, oh, shucks, thank you. And he's like, think y'all have potential. I just want you to know before, you hear about it from them. I want to give you a heads up. Emailed the Jedi Council recently. Told them that I want to appoint you to be my representative on the Jedi Council.
Right.
I want someone speaking to my needs.
Yeah.
I'm electing
an
you for the job.
unprecedented move.
Right.
This is made clear
But
in like Jedi Senate relations.
Yes. And these relations have always been very unclear within the reality of this film.
It seems like the Jedi work for the Senate, or at least work in tandem with them, but they also don't follow orders, as is made clear here. It's kind of unclear.
I contend that it's the relationship between the Vatican City and the rest of Italy.
Well, anyway.
But that's just my guesswork.
Well, anyway.
But anyway. Hi, this is Griffin. Welcome to Griffin Day Present Revenge of the Podcast.
I hate that bit. I officially hate it.
Ben, cut out everything
we've ever
from
done.
here on out, and the episode at the last part where David said that he hates it.
Yeah, and also delete all former episodes.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
Erase them. Scrub them.
Scrub.
So, Phantom Menace.
Do it.
Anakin's like, oh, wow, thank you. And he's like, no problem. Anakin goes to the Jedis, and they're like, okay, so we got this.
This weird memo.
Said to put you on the council. We work for Palpatine, technically, I guess. I don't know.
They're kind of like, look, we don't like this, but we're going to do it because we want you to spy on him.
Right.
But we're not going to grant you the rank of master for some reason, I guess just to make you kind of pissy.
Yeah.
So, is all of that clear? Work for Palpatine, but for us, but we don't like you.
Yeah.
It's like a real, here, have some cheese. No cheese. But a little bit of cheese, but no cheese.
It's like one of those promotions where they go great news, we're giving you a bunch of new responsibilities, but no added title or pay.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Anakin, loved what you did on the Clone Wars.
Thank you so
Rescued
much.
the Chancellor. Great job.
Great stuff.
He wrote to us. We're really mad about that. So we're going to do what he says, but you're not going to see anything, nothing good for you.
You know how he wanted you to gain an extra job here?
Right.
We're going to grant you that, except without any of the benefits, and also ask you to do another job
yeah,
on
and
top
then there's
of
a third job.
Right.
There's a third job around the corner. And also, don't worry about the second job, but kind of do.
And then Anakin is like, what? And they were like, ooh, much anger we sense in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Ooh, what? Ooh, Anakin, gotta cool off that anger.
Now, to be fair, Anakin is being weird because everyone else in the Jedi, as we much discussed, never react with emotion to anything except if you're asking Jocasta where a certain planet might be.
Hey, go get the fuck out of here. Shut up.
Everyone else in the Jedi, especially Yoda, anytime Yoda hears some messed up news, he'll say things like, if we didn't see this clone army coming, then we're really blinded. But he doesn't say it
blinded we are.
Yeah, he doesn't say it like he's upset.
No, he just goes, well.
So the Jedi obviously know something is up with this guy. The central question, I think, that we need to ask is, does George Lucas successfully pull off the idea that these all-powerful, mind-reading, mood-reading wizards...
I'm reading your mind and predicting the question.
Could they figure... does he pull off that they could be tricked by one super made-up guy who wears black all the time and shoots lightning and is really creepy?
No, he does not.
No, he doesn't pull it off. It's really perplexing.
Let's continue exploring the ways in which he does not pull it off, okay? They assign him this new position.
Yeah, so there's a lot of scenes where Anakin and Palpatine are alone together.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so they give him this added thing, right? Then he's really upset. He goes to meet Palpatine at the space opera. That's the next scene.
That's their next scene together?
Yeah, I did today. I
was hoping you...
I did one of my patented cuts where I skip ahead and just watch the specific scenes relating to this. It's a much better movie.
Sure.
I would argue the first half of this film, if you're only watching the scenes with Palpatine in them, before he turns into the influence, are pretty solid.
They're better.
Relatively. They even play better without the other scenes surrounding them.
That's probably true,
Yeah. The next scene's the space opera.
Yeah, this is probably the best scene in the movie.
Yep.
Low bar. Bar's buried in the ground, but still.
So they go to the opera. It's like a huge theater in the round. It looks kind of like the Galactic Senate.
Yeah, that's fair.
The boxes aren't moving.
Didn't think about that.
It's like little balconies, but it's like totally circular, and the performance is in the center. And the performance is like 3 giant, like gelatinous blue orbs with all these little like wisps floating around them, like
and then
colors.
and then like Eyes Wide Shut chorus. It's pretty cool.
It's great.
And it's called like The Tragedy of blah 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 or something. There's a plot.
And it's mad sad. Yo, it's tragic as shit.
So,
but a little foreshadowing there on George's part, because George is an interesting filmmaker. So he knows that there's going to be a tragedy in Anakin's life. So he goes, "Oh, we'll have that guy see a show that is tragic
and set up
so
this
that
tragedy."
There's thematic. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. Anyway,
it does.
I want to point something out.
Put out anything you want.
Palpatine's talking the whole time.
Yep,
that's real rude.
Real rude.
You should be quiet and listen to the opera.
I want someone in their little floating opera box to just like drive over and
excuse me. But then maybe they'd be like, "Ooh, it's the Chancellor."
Oh, never mind.
No mind. Yeah.
Then they have to back up. They have to park back in their opera box section. Okay, important stuff. Really important thing to talk about. The opera kind of looks like a bunch of sperms floating around in an egg.
I guess so.
I did realize that today. It looks like a bunch of sperms floating. It's great. I love sperms and eggs. Are you kidding me? It's fucking best.
It's a good scene. It's a cool idea.
It's a cool scene.
Like it's really otherworldly, which a lot of things are not.
So he sits there. The idea now is that like he's reporting back to Palpatine about what he saw, but also the Jedi know that he's
playing
going,
triple agent.
Right.
Yeah.
And very much playing his own needs and desires.
This is the problem. Anakin's having these dreams. He's worried about his wife.
Dumb fucking dreams.
This comes up, and Palpatine starts talking about Darth Plagueis.
But why?
Why?
Let's slow it down. I think we gotta slow it down.
Yeah. Why? How does he know about his dreams?
I think Anakin mentions it.
Yeah, Anakin. Yeah. So Palpatine opens up with like, "I heard they're not electing you Jedi Council. How does that make you feel? Must not make you feel great, huh?" And it's like, well, first of all, let's just point this out quickly, okay? Jedi Council, limited membership, right? There are literally very few seats.
It's like 16 total. It's like however many seats fit in that circle.
Okay.
They do give him a seat, though, because they're like, yeah, we're not giving you master. Take your seat.
Yeah. But there are
It'd be good if his seat had like a different leather backing, if it was blue instead of red. Anyway.
Or there wasn't a toilet in it. It looked the same, but you couldn't poop inside of it.
That would be a real outrage.
That's a callback for you,
Phantom
podcast listeners. There aren't that many seats available. The only new Jedi we have seen appointed to the council has been Obi-Wan. And those are extreme circumstances where his master died.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A seat was, therefore, given up.
I guess so, yeah.
But this is new business. Also, everyone else on the council is significantly older than Anakin.
Age is hard to tell with some of these aliens, but certainly, yes.
David, we've looked up most of these people.
How old is Mace Windu, though?
Mace Windu's probably like 55.
Yeah, he's like 20 years older than Anakin. 20, 30 years older than Anakin.
Okay, within human years, that's a good difference.
That's fair.
Right? That represents a good portion of your lifetime.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
Okay, so it was unlikely. It was a stretch that he was going to be made a Jedi Master and put on council.
No,
anyway.
absolutely. He's only on the council because Palpatine asked them because they wanted to play this crazy role. But, if they wanted him to play the crazy role, they could have at least, for the sake of show, given him that rank of Master. Now, maybe they're trying to play their own game where they're like, oh, we don't want Palpatine to think he's in with us.
Yeah.
It's a lot of chess being played, right? But they don't know that Palpatine has, like, a big hammer that can smash all the chess pieces at once.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They think they're playing 3D chess. He's playing, like, 8D chess.
Yeah. Palpatine's kind of a G. I said he was a basic bitch, but he's kind of a G.
No, he is crazy.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
So they're talking, and he's like, how does that make you feel? And he's like, not good. I don't feel good about it. I feel like everyone's disrespecting me.
Jedis are not supposed to not feel
this
good,
and
but
that.
anyway.
I'm stressed out, having these dreams, and he's like, talking about all this stuff. And then he goes, they have this conversation. He goes, the Jedi see things in very didactic ways, this and this and that.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. And he says, there are other forms of the Force. He uses this line that I think is very interesting within the context of our larger exploration of this movie, which is, he goes, what do you know about the Sith? And he goes, the Sith are driven by passion. They make decisions only based on themselves. The Jedis are selfless. Like, he's saying there's not much difference between a Sith and a Jedi.
Right, that it's
Anakin's
more about...
huge difference.
Yeah.
They're driven by passion. They make decisions for themselves. don't you think it's interesting? The ultimate point he's making is, the Sith are acting in self-preservation, and the Jedi care about the world at large, the galaxy at large.
Yeah.
But the first word he uses to describe that divide is the Sith are driven by passion, as if emotion is a bad thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't say vengeance.
No, but you're absolutely right. But that is in keeping with the logic of these movies and the logic of the way the Jedis behave.
And beyond that, the logic of how these films were made.
Yeah, that's true.
That George was like,
the passion is a problem.
This scene is too emotional. We got to reshoot it, right?
Yeah,
I find that very fascinating. So Allright's presenting this thing, but Sidious is being kind of seductive. I forget exactly what comes up, but he goes, "Let me ask you a question. Has any Jedi been able to cheat death? Whatever.
Yeah.
It comes
no,
up.
He asked the question,
whatever,
and he's like, one guy.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about Darth Plagueis?
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
He's like, no, and he's like, I bet the Jedi wouldn't tell you. Here's the basic deal. Darth Plagueis was the most powerful ever. He was Sith as shit, right? Like
crazy Sith
through and through. He became so addicted to power that he could do almost anything. He could protect the ones he loved from death.
Mm-hmm.
Some believed he could even use the Force via midichlorians to create life.
Right. Right.
Handbrake.
You saying he maybe created Anakin?
Anakin's the Immaculate Conception?
Hey, I don't know.
I don't know where he came from. Now, we always like to say that Watto was his dad because his little boy Pee-Pee looks like a Watto nose. But let's be honest for a second.
You mostly like to say that.
I like to say that, and we also... I'm going to flip some cards over on the table. We don't know that for a fact.
We don't. It's
we
true.
don't know what
You've been
Anakin's Pee-Pee
speculating.
looks like.
No.
We've been,
Thank God.
We've been joking.
What a terrible thing if we did.
Yeah. We would never be able to get over it. We're not those types of guys.
Carry on.
Who
Carry
like
on.
to look at little
Carry
boys'
on.
Pee-Pees. I just want to say that very clearly. And if we were,
Carry
it
on.
would just be for the purpose of figuring out who's a Toydarian and who's not. That's all we're saying. We wouldn't be getting any pleasure from it. We would just want to know who is part.
Griffin, I hate this bit.
I'm Griffin Newman. Welcome to Griffin and David Present Revenge of the Podcast. I think the implication is that Plagueis is Anakin's father.
Sure, or Anakin is the result of Plagueis' dark experiments.
That he was created by the dark side of the Force to fulfill their legacy, it seems like.
It is fair for you to say this, but it is annoying that is so unclear in these movies.
Yes, it is.
They had 3 movies to set up a cool idea like that. Instead, it's one throwaway line in the first movie and one throwaway line in the third. And you're there to maybe put the pieces together if you really want to.
Maybe instead of spending 20 minutes at a droid factory chase.
Here's the other thing.
Plant some of these seeds.
Have you read Wikipedia about Darth Plagueis?
No, have you?
Yes.
Let's pull it up.
Oh, well, sure, but I mean, I can tell you the basics because that's the conclusion of the Darth Plagueis story. Because Anakin's like, why isn't he not dead? Good question.
Became so obsessed with power, terrified of losing it. Eventually, he did, which is a very weird, rushed over explanation of how he lost his power.
Well, it's basically like his assistant murdered him. His apprentice murdered him. That's like, he couldn't see it, on his own doorstep.
His assistant killed him.
You know who his assistant was?
Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously. But they don't say that in the movie.
Yeah, but that's clear.
I know.
It was not clear.
Yeah, it's not clear.
For the normal blue collar guy, not clear.
You're being too positive. You're trying to see the best in everybody.
The way he presents it is that this is some ancient story.
Yeah, long time ago, galaxy
it's
far, far
not.
away.
This guy...
That's like 20, 30 years
They
ago.
knew this guy. His name was Hugo Damask.
Damask?
Yeah, he was a businessman.
Did they go to high school together?
According to Wikipedia, they went to high school together. And they went to space high school.
Which one? Was it magnet or public? Or?
Yeah, no. It was a charter school. It was a space charter school.
They're really doing good stuff.
Yeah,
it
was
schools. It's really
excellence. Coruscant Success Academy. Anyway, Darth Plagueis was a mun or a moon. That was his.
What does he look like?
He looks like San Hill.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like only real nerds know who we're talking about right now, but he's like he's like one of the trade guys.
Yeah, but he's got a long
kind of a narrow but long face.
Yeah.
And sort of a bald head.
And he's tall and he's lanky.
Sort of looks like a human face just kind of squished.
But he's got some sort of rubbit parts and overtones, right? I feel like I've seen there was a Darth Plagueis action figure.
Anyway, in his public guise, he was this like big businessman, and it's implied in Wikipedia that his money is the thing that funded the clone army.
So here's a question for you.
Carry on.
Why not, if you're planning out your epic space saga, and as George contends, he knew where it was going the whole time, he had the larger mapped out idea for all 3 films, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you make, quote-unquote, Sifo Dyas in Attack of the Clones be Darth Plagueis? Or at least be Darth Plagueis' real name?
Any of these tweaks would be good.
Wouldn't that tie together nicely?
Why don't you have Plagueis be in the first one, Sifo Dyas be a character, and then he manipulates that, and then in the second one, the clone army thing happens, and Sifo Dyas gets betrayed or whatever. I don't know. There's a million things you could have done. There's all kinds of shit happening behind the scenes.
I'm just saying, what's Darth Plagueis' real name?
Hugo Damas.
That's who it should have fucking been. They should have said some guy named Hugo Damas ordered a clone army. Who was he? He was a wealthy businessman.
Yeah.
He died. No one knew what happened. No one knowed what happened. No one knowed.
Anyway, there's an incredible amount about him on, Wikipedia, and there's no way we could read it all. But eventually, Sidious becomes his apprentice, and they have these experiments to try and create life using midichlorians. Inadvertently, they create Anakin Skywalker. They didn't know that they did that.
Wikipedia contends that is the case.
Oh, it's not contends.
Open and
knows.
shut.
Yeah. And then eventually, Sidious kills him.
So Palpatine is kind of Anakin's dad.
Now,
both of them kind of are.
Yeah.
Just as
He's got 2 dads.
just
like
as
my 2
something-
dads. Not my 2 dads, like the show My 2 Dads. I have 1 dad.
Sure. Just one thing I'll throw out there that I'm thinking is when you run for an office in government, they always go back the press
They vet.
and they look into like what your background is. How could no one have known that this guy was apprenticed to this Sith?
Beyond that, they also always look to see like affairs, infidelities, children you had out of wedlock.
If you did drugs.
Yeah. But they'd be like, we found here DNA evidence that you made a kid out of magic with your evil boss.
Plead the fifth on that one. Next question, please.
Well, we won't talk about your magic kid. So he's telling this story that I think he's doing in a very like wink winky, hat tippy kind of way, right? Where he's going like, unfortunately, he had an apprentice.
Yeah,
wink,
okay.
wink. Dink, 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 dink. Right?
Right.
And he was so worried about trying to save other people from death, he couldn't save himself, whatever. And he goes, is it possible to learn these powers? He goes, not from a Jedi.
Not from a Jedi.
Great line reading.
It's in the trailer. It's sort of like a crucial point in the trailer.
And let's say great scene of acting from Ian McDermott.
We got to talk about McDermott. I know we'll have a performance review, but he is the star of this movie.
No question.
And like he must, for a somewhat well-known British stage actor, to have this like central grand arc in these 3 movies, and then I'm sure he enjoyed doing 1.
Yeah.
And then 2, he didn't get as much, and he was probably like, maybe. And then to be imagine being handed the script for 3. It's like, you've got 2 lightsaber fights. Your face melts off. You have like 80 lines of dialogue.
It's like
you have these crazy monologues.
It's like he owns a ham store, and they just placed a very, very large order.
Oh my god!
They said, "Can you provide us with 200 hams?"
Yeah, can you serve Christmas ham to everyone in New York City?
That's all I've been wanting.
Yeah,
I want honey glazed,
and I want to
roasted.
say McDermott's a great actor.
A wonderful.
I've seen him on the stage.
Won a Tony, Awake and Sing.
Such a great actor, and I love him in these movies, but he certainly is very aware that he needs to push the cheese.
Yeah, but that's what he's got to do.
Very hard, I know.
Ham and cheese,
It's
bro.
ham and cheese.
They
Ham
go
and cheese
together
on-
for a reason.
Like stuffed crust pizza with hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's beautiful. It tastes great. It gives me diarrhea. I don't care because I'm having such a good time while it's happening. Right?
I did, have diarrhea every time he was on screen.
The way that we have learned to watch movies is that sometimes characters think and feel things that are not entirely represented by what they're saying.
Sure.
People have internal thoughts.
Show, don't tell. Right.
Right. Internal thoughts. So you infer not only from what people are saying, but from their body language, their
We
reactions.
understand.
Okay. So this scene's happening, and he's really tipping the hat.
Yeah,
like,
I know. He's like,
his apprentice.
Anakin, and the dog's not from a Jedi, maybe from a Sith Lord.
Right. And Anakin's like staring wide-eyed, kind of looking at him and being like, okay, I get it. Like, it seems like he understands it and is like picking up on the illusions, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next scene
their next scene together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this morning.
Please,
and I
go
can't remember
ahead.
why he showed us up in the office.
Whatever. Hey, here to check in. It's me, a Jedi representative.
Oh, they find Grievous.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we found Grievous.
They found Grievous, and he goes.
He's on planet Iguana.
Oh, because that's the thing, right? When Palpatine asks him to be his like
Jedi
inside guy,
representative, yeah.
he's like, number one thing you gotta do, you gotta make sure you take down Grievous.
Yeah.
Grievous is bad news. Make sure you take down Grievous. So Anakin's like, hey, knock knock. Good news. We found Grievous. And Palpatine's like, that's wonderful. If they have any brains, they'll send you out to catch Grievous. And he's like, I think it's gonna be Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And Grievous is just constantly, Sidious is just constantly going like, sounds like they don't like you.
Right.
But Sidious is constantly setting up Anakin to expect more than anyone should expect at that point in their career.
Right. He's driving a wedge between him and the Jedi.
But he's going like, you know, if I were the Jedis, I'd give you $1 billion raise. And then he's like, can I get a raise? And they're like, no, we don't pay. And he's like, sounds like they don't like you. You know?
Carry on.
Anakin, of his own volition, would never ask to be put on the council.
No,
he made a master at that point.
I agree with
Grievous,
you.
Sidious is just
you keep confusing
pushing them. Right, okay. They both
Well,
have
carry on.
evil names. He's like, you know, I've been thinking about what you said, this and that, whatever. And he makes some reference to the Force. And he's like, how do you
know so much about the Force?
You've heard of the Force?
How do you know about
You've
this?
heard about the Force? And so he's like, yeah. And he's like, what? And he's like talking, and he starts alluding to some stuff about the dark side. I think they're entering this conversation. Anakin's like, okay, don't ask, don't tell. I know that you fucked with some Sith shit.
No,
you know that I know.
Anakin is like, wait a second.
Wait, you're saying
the Force?
But after that whole story you told me about the Sith and how they...
Look,
it's
the movie is
beneficial
terribly
to be a
written.
Sith.
Are you so shocked?
No, but you don't... The way the scene is played, it's not even the way it's written.
I know.
The way it's acted, it seems like Anakin's like, I got it. I hear it loud and clear. And then this scene...
Maybe these two scenes were supposed... It doesn't matter.
From two different movies.
Maybe he subscribed to The Force magazine.
Yeah. Maybe you just read the Force magazine. And he's like, you know, in order to understand the world, you have to learn about all sides of it, good and bad. You know, to say, like, if I'm going to be a good
Broaden your
chancellor,
horizons.
right.
Yeah.
But then very quickly goes off from that defense and is just like, also, I just fuck with dark shit.
Yeah, I've dabbled.
Yeah.
I've stuck my toe in the water of the Sith.
And he's like, are you a Sith Lord? And he's like, the Jedi are so didactic. They do this. I'm telling you, it's absolute power. Don't you want to save Padme? Like, he makes the big leap.
Really quickly.
Really
and
quickly. And he's like,
I would contend this movie does a horrible job.
yeah. And he's like, I'm very scared right now. And he's like, I know, I feel it. And he's like, wait, you have the Force? He's like, yeah, this is what I've been saying. The last 3 times we've talked, I've been trying to lay out a couple clear breadcrumbs. I fuck with the dark side, and I have the Force. And you're still not
and
getting
Anakin's like, wait, hold up. Who told you about the Force? Yeah, right? Wait, just slow down. Slow right down.
Wait, why do you know about my
second.
dreams?
My name is Anakin Skywalker. I'm a Jedi. What's your name?
He's spelling it out for him.
I've never met you before. Who are you?
Yeah. So Anakin's like, I should arrest you right now. And he's like, I sense uncertainty. And he's like, oh shit, he can sense. Oh boy, I don't know. And he's like, you know that you want to trust me. It's your only way out.
Well, he really hits the Padme thing. It's like,
your
look,
only way out is
I know
to
that
team
I'm
up with
a
me.
super creepy old man
Yeah.
who keeps basically like spitting like disgust, like Anakin. But if you want to rescue your wife, who you've definitely had at least one troubling dream about,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna have to throw away all your training and your life's work and join up with me.
And he's probably blowing his mind right now because no one else even knows that Anakin and Padme are married because no one in this galaxy understands
any attention to anything.
Pays any attention to anything. So Anakin runs back to Windu. And he's like, yo, Windu, Palpatine's a Sith Lord.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what are you talking
No,
about?
but Windu, to his credit, is like, okay.
No, but they're two, like, he protests twice.
I know he does, yeah.
He goes, what are you talking about?
I mean, which is fair because it's like, if he's a Sith Lord, then we really fucked over.
Yeah,
We
but
screwed
they're
the
also
pooch.
suspicious enough that they ask him to spy on them
I know.
from the beginning.
They know something's wrong.
They shouldn't be totally caught off
I
guard.
know.
They should go, you know what, that's what it was. We knew there was something weird going
Oh,
on.
he's a Sith Lord. I mean, one assumes they just thought that he was a corrupt politician trying to hold on to power past his term.
Well, Anakin goes like, hey,
I think he's a Sith Lord. It's
Palpatine's a Sith Lord. And Windu's like,
no. I think he literally says like, I think he's a Sith Lord.
and Windu's like, oh my, no, really basic misunderstanding. Palpatine's a chancellor.
Yeah, he's the Chancellor, not the Sith
not the
Lord.
Sith Lord. No
Who
problem.
we don't know the identity.
Don't
of.
worry about it.
Yeah.
And he's like,
but he's
no,
obviously someone very powerful.
not only do I think he's a Sith Lord, I think he's this guy we've been looking for 10 years.
Right. And Mace Windu's like, I'm sorry, could you just repeat that?
Very serious accusations.
Right.
Say it one more time. And he's like, I think
Chancellor Palpatine
is
was
Darth
talking
Sidious,
about
Lord
the Force.
Sidious.
By the way, what is the Force?
He's like, you talk about the Force, he has a lightsaber, I don't know.
I don't think the lightsaber's
You haven't seen the
revealed
lightsaber yet. And Windu's like, okay,
Windu's like, all right,
I'll go arrest him.
Kit Fisto, get 2 other guys. Let's fly over there.
Collar.
I
I think his name's Agent Collar, and I don't remember who the other guy is.
Let's get a couple guys.
Anakin's like,
You're saying he's the Sith Lord?
Yeah.
Let's get a couple guys.
Let's get like 3 guys.
Let's hail a cab.
Yeah.
Hey, taxi.
They hail a space cab. Corbin Dallas from the Fifth Element's flying it.
Yeah, if only.
No talk of evidence either.
No.
Yeah, no talk of evidence, no talk of like,
Just an
whoa, let's
accusation.
really build the case.
Yeah.
Let's really follow the money here, maybe.
Windu's like, are you sure? And Anakin's like, pretty sure. And he's like, okay.
Let's go. Anakin, don't come with us.
And Anakin's like, no, I'm happy to
No,
come
no,
with.
don't worry about
He's like, no, you stay here. So then Anakin goes to Padme, talks about how confused he is, and it's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to go catch up with them, see what they're doing. Very cool shot of... No, it's not like a
You mean of
great
Windu
shot.
entering?
Yeah, it's just like a
it's cool.
badass
Samuel L.
moment.
Jackson's a wonderful looking person.
It's low angle. He
looks
beautiful
great.
man. He's
Yeah.
got real
He's dressed
presence.
well. He's wearing great.
He's got 2 cool aliens over each shoulder. And it's a real practical hallway.
Yeah, it's a
I
real
noticed
set.
this one
it's a real
shot.
set.
That
I know.
corridor is real.
Yeah.
Because the second they get into the main office, the
Yeah,
windows are all
and
CGI.
there's the
But that
red
corridor
and
is
the
real.
CGI
So those
and-
shots are like totally real, like people make up whatever. And then he's like, Palpatine, come with me.
Yeah, he's like, you come with me. And he's like, no.
No, I'm the Chancellor.
And they're like,
shut the fuck up.
And he has some great lines because Mace Windu says something like, "Oh, we're gonna get the Senate on you," and he says, "I am the Senate."
Right, and he goes, that would be treason.
And then he says,
He's
"No." He says, "So it's treason then."
He's not fully doing lizard voice yet. He's doing hammy voice.
When he says, "I am the Senate," he's pretty close to lizard
He's
voice.
getting there. He's
I
towing
am the
around it.
Senate.
He's edging around lizard voice.
And then
right?
he just
takes the lightsaber.
clicks out a lightsaber. And
coolest lightsaber we've seen so far. It's a really
it's
cool.
red.
The
like,
handle is very
cool.
elegant.
Yes. It's not like so. Darth Maul's lightsaber, obviously two-handed, very nice. The thing itself was kind of dorky looking.
Yeah.
It had all these buttons on it.
This thing's like very regal looking. It's very
Dooku's red lightsaber with the curvy
Yeah.
thing, that was pretty cool, but a little over the top.
Yeah.
A little hot topic,
Yeah.
you know? I know what you're saying. He's got a Cadillac lightsaber.
it's understated. It's got no fancy tricks. It's just a good,
He reveals
solid,
it.
well-made
Then he turns into
lightsaber.
Flubber.
Then he turns into Flubber.
And he flubbers around, and he
That's a
flubbers
real
into
Flubber
all the
spin.
other Jedis, and he flubbers them to death
he kills all the other people other than Mace
with flubber power.
very quickly.
Yeah, it's just like bang, and he goes like, Now, I want to make something that was not present with Darth Maul or Count Dooku that
Okay.
I do like is that he fights and he kills with like glee.
Yes.
And McDermott's really into that. You know, he's going like, ha ha! And I think that's supposed to be part of the whole deal, right? Is like he really enjoys this.
Here's the thing that I don't
Even though
like.
he's rumbled, he
Yes.
really likes it.
I agree with you. I like that. Here's the thing
You
I
don't
don't
like Flubber?
like. Yeah. And I understand you're going to fully CGI.
He's an old man.
Well, Flubber. Okay, but he's not that old.
Sure.
There are a couple shots where it's literally just Palpatine jousting, where he's standing still and he just sticks his arm out and he's fully CGI.
I know.
Where they cut to a different angle and you see a fully CGI old man just stick his arm out. Like they couldn't even trust him to do that. I understand the flubber stuff. If you want him spinning around, if you want him doing crazy business,
Yeah, but it doesn't look good.
it doesn't look
Part of the problem is he has this big heavy robe and
Yeah.
like they don't know how to animate that at all.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So,
He has a cool fight with Mace Windu.
and he's got him down on the ground.
Mace Windu, who is really good at his job, gets him down on the ground.
Yeah. He's got the, whatchamacallit? The
Purple lightsaber.
No, the thing that Obi-Wan tries to use against Anakin. You have to...
High ground.
He's got the high ground. I said higher ground. I was looking for the more specific term, and it was just high ground. He's got his lightsaber out, and he's like, okay, seriously,
You're
dude,
done.
Seriously,
Under
dude, you're
arrest.
under arrest.
In comes Anakin Skywalker.
And he's like, don't do this.
What are you doing? You can't kill him. I mean, no. At this point, Mace Windu's like, I'm going to kill you.
Because it's self-defense. He's killed 2 of his best friends.
Yeah. No, I mean, kill him.
Yeah.
It's time for Palpatine to die.
Right, Anakin's like, he needs a trial. And it's like, he's in charge of the fucking thing.
But
he's
yeah,
gonna
there'll
rig.
never
It's
be
gonna
a fair trial.
It'll be a kangaroo court.
It's kind of an annoying scene because they have to have this debate while Palpatine is like,
It's just sitting there going, no,
yeah,
no.
he's sort of doing these mock like, oh, don't hurt me, oh, evil little Jedi.
Right.
Then he starts shooting lightning at him.
So he starts shooting lightning. Windu's
Windu's
perfectly
reflecting
deflects
it back on
just
on him.
by keeping his lightsaber in exactly the place
Although
where
he
it
is
was.
like, he's putting some stress into it.
But it's like he doesn't try to
I know.
attack or retaliate.
I know.
Palpatine doesn't go like, okay, maybe aim a little higher so that it's not hitting the lightsaber.
But the other problem is Anakin sees this and is like, yeah, the guy shooting the evil lightning that only one other evil Jedi has ever
Watching,
shot.
He's like, where have I saw the lightning somewhere.
I could have sworn it hit me square in the chest this one time.
Adi Gallia didn't have it.
So,
Ariel
but
Cruz
he does
doesn't
say,
have
like
it.
you say, he's like, I need her, I need him.
He's
You
like,
know?
what are you talking about?
Yeah, Windu is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You never talk to me about anything personal. If you're having problems in your personal life, tell me, because now I have no frame of reference. He's like, I don't want Padme to die. He's like, that senator? What are you talking about?
He doesn't say that.
And he's like, my wife, and it's like, your wife?
Yeah, we already did this bit last
And he goes,
week.
my wife. Great. I'm Griffin. This is David. Welcome to Griffin Day.
I'm not on this podcast anymore. I resign. So Anakin chops off Mace's hand.
Well, first, important detail. Somehow the lightning power
melts his
getting
face.
sucked into the lightsaber and shooting back on him turns him into the influence.
Now here's my question.
His flesh turns
Here's my
into
question.
silly putty,
Yeah.
and he gets a big butt cheek in the middle of his forehead.
Yeah, he's got these sort of crazy
His
grooves.
forehead
yeah.
is a crease. It looks like two butt cheeks.
Yeah. Now
on
here's
his
my
forehead.
question.
Yeah.
Is the implication that this is genuine scarring from lightning? Because if so, that's stupid. That makes no sense. It's lightning. It would look random and weird on his face, not like these beautiful butt cheeks.
Yep, agreed.
Or is it that like he's always had this like mask to look normal and like that's melted away and this is what he's always looked like underneath?
I don't think it's the latter, and I think that would be cool if that's
I
what they
think
were
it's the
implying.
latter, but I'm not sure.
I think the way, because the transformation is done in CGI as his face is like melting.
Yeah, the whole fucking
until it settles, and then it's terrible prosthetics, right?
yeah, sure. And but also CGI eyes. He's got or
Yes.
whatever, you know. He's got red eyes or orange eyes.
As his face is melting, it looks like it's not like resetting to an earlier state or like disguise is going down. It's like slowly like morphing into something different. It doesn't look like it's like, oh, this is his true self. It looks like this is the effects of this specific incident of
I know.
lightning reflecting off a lightsaber, which is like, why would it do that? Why would it
Anyway,
act that way that quickly?
Griffin,
Why would it look like
we're almost an hour in and we've barely done half of this.
this is gonna be a 3-parter?
So Palpatine says something on like, you know, Windu's arm gets chopped off and he's like, and he goes
Windu's he's like, this is over. He's about to slash down,
and Anakin whips it off.
whips off the hand.
rough.
Windu's like,
You
he's
really feel
looking,
bad for Windu.
falls out the window.
No.
The hand falls out the window.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
saying.
Right.
Hand falls out the window, and then he's like, power!
Yep.
He just says the word, power!
He zaps him a lot. I think he might say like power, absolute power. I
Yeah.
think he,
and
keeps
he
talking.
zaps Windu, and Windu falls out the window.
Windu really takes it. It's like a and like finally gets blasted out the window. And now I read an interview, Sam Jackson, he knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
And he just said to George Lucas, like, don't make me die like lamely. Like I want to have like a really big death. And so he gets one.
Yeah.
But it's a little late.
It's a little lame.
Because he gets, he's got him pinned.
Yeah.
And then stupid fucking Anakin, who he
Stupid
never
Anakin.
liked,
Yeah.
comes in and
I
ruins
need
it.
him. I need him.
It's really, honestly, the most annoying moment in the movie for me.
My brother.
I watch it every time, and every time I just want Windu to at least chop Anakin to bits.
And isn't he a Jedi? Like
He's an amazing Jedi.
He falls out the window. I mean, he could catch some like awning on a building
that
or something.
lightning is no.
Instead, it just is like it's Wile E. Coyote. It just like goes down and hits the.
We never see
ground
the
and-
body. That's it.
That's over.
Maybe he's still alive. My brother told me when he saw Revenge of the Sith. This is like right after he saw it when we were like comparing notes on,
Yeah.
what we both agreed was the best one yet.
Yeah, right.
At the time, and he told me that he got choked up when Mace Windu died.
I don't know what to say to that. I got annoyed.
Okay, we've seen Mace Windu in 3 movies. Yeah. Could you give me one adjective to describe his personality?
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, Pope-like, calm.
I mean, we have no idea
stern.
who this fucking
He's
guy
stern.
is. Yeah.
He's stern.
That's not really
if
a
Yoda's a
character.
little softer, he's a little harder.
Yeah.
He's always there to be like, I don't know. But then he does show up at Attack of the Clones and get like 2 or 3 action scenes.
Yeah, and he looks like he's having a little.
And he's played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, that's the only reason we feel sad.
I
Because
know.
we're like, oh man, Samuel Jackson isn't
It's
in this
most
movie anymore.
you feel sad for like it's too bad Sam Jackson never really got to cut loose.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's his last scene. Okay, so now
So now Palpatine is
the
scarred.
influence. He's got silly
He
putty
immediately,
face.
as we discussed last week, he's like, Anakin, come over here. You're a Darth Vader. Congrats.
Can I pause?
Please go off and kill some younglings.
Pause for one more second. Anakin made a really big leap, which is that Palpatine was like, this guy could prevent people from dying.
Right.
Don't you think? I know we keep on talking about the lack of due diligence in these movies, and it's a dead topic. I'm beating the horse, but don't you think he would have been like, can you introduce me to one of these people who didn't die?
Yeah. Or do you have like a tape to tell me?
Any proof?
Any proof?
Because
Also,
pretty easy way to
wait,
prove.
who told you about the Force?
Yeah. But even up until this point, when he's like, yep, I will become a Sith Lord, he still's gotten no evidence that the dark side of the Force can prevent people from dying. Because you know who could prevent from dying? Darth fucking Plagueis.
That's true.
If he was that powerful, then
I'll
he
watch your
would
back.
not be dead.
Anyway.
So dubs him Darth Vader.
And then Anakin goes off on his Vader, which
Child
we
murdering
discussed. He
spree.
does all that stuff. Now,
Yeah.
let's stick to Palpatine, though, because here's what Palpatine does.
Goes back to the Senate.
Goes back to the Senate and is like, FYI, I am the Emperor. This is an Imperial Empire, a Galactic Empire.
He's full on talking like a lizard now.
Yeah, and
he's
he's
like, the Jedis have tried to kill me.
yeah,
This is
he
unfortunately
presents
my scarring.
his face.
Right.
And no one asks him, like, hey, why does your voice sound so evil?
Yeah.
Because he's like, yes, the Jedi tried to kill me, but we will have a Galactic Empire.
Why do you have the body language of Mr. Burns now? Like, why
It's
are
crazy.
you literally putting on a fake mustache at the end of every sentence just to twirl it?
Before that, he was kind of this like, oh, I am Chancellor, this old wizard man. This burden is, does not suit, but I will
I'm
accept.
going to be paying much attention to you, and then
I'm the
Galactic.
Chancellor Palpatine.
And there's this line that Padme delivers.
Yeah.
Because he says, like, FYI, Republic is dissolved, end of democracy, congrats, it's an
right,
empire.
if we're gonna fucking tackle this, you got to give me all the power in the world. And everyone's like,
Everyone
everyone
applauds.
just gives it to him.
Everyone just applauds.
Yeah.
And Padme says, this is how democracy dies, to thunderous applause.
Okay, so George Lucas hates George W. Bush.
Sure. This is 2005. The Iraq War is in the middle of its worst quagmire period.
Second term.
Bush, has just been reelected. I guess he's being he's running for election
Yeah.
when this movie is being shot, things
Yeah.
like that. And there is this sort of seething quality to Padme's line reading and to the whole, like, Hitler-esque rise to power thing that's happening.
Creating conflicts that only he can knock down in order to look like the solution. I mean, you remember Bush's whole sort of like main angle for his reelection was like, I got us in this middle of the war. You're not going to hire someone else to finish it up. At least let me finish it.
Right.
I know you hate this war I started, but you got to let me finish it.
And if you're for us, if you're not for us, you're against us.
Right.
We never discussed that line last week where Anakin says, like, if you're not with me, you're against me.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan says only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah.
Which I think is...
I feel like Jedi's deal in absolutes too.
No, only a Sith deals in absolutes is an absolute. I mean,
right,
it's a very silly whatever.
Yeah, there are two types of people in the world. People who say there are only two types of people in the world. Anyway.
It's like that joke where it's like there are two books that you need to read. The book is like what they teach you at Harvard Business School and what they don't teach you at Harvard Business.
I've never heard that joke. That's really funny.
Because there are two books actually called that.
Yeah.
That's like the entire wealth of knowledge in the
See,
universe.
I wish Anakin could have just done that. Like, read the book, like, The Order of the Jedi, and then the other one that's, like, not The Order of the Jedi. And then just not had to just done research.
So Sidious is the Emperor now.
Now he's the Emperor.
He's still Palpatine publicly.
George Lucas hates George Bush.
But he has this ironclad, bulletproof reason to seize power and eliminate the Jedi.
Which he does, and that's a whole nother episode.
We're going to talk about that in another episode.
Jedi Holocaust is its own episode.
Order 66.
Yeah, that's its own
Execute
episode.
the evil order.
Yeah.
Execute Order 69-69-420.
66, isn't that 1 6 off from Satan? Should we be worried about this guy? Palpatine?
So Palpatine will...
You're worried about Palpatine?
We'll discuss it later, but eliminates the Jedi
It's a Jedi Holocaust.
and has this one big final scene, right?
Well, he fights Yoda.
Yeah. where he fights Yoda.
It's flubber on flubber.
It's crazy how bad this scene is.
It looks like
Did you think the last Yoda fight was bad?
Yeah.
Well, we've extended it.
They're fighting the Galactic Senate with all the floating
Yeah,
boxes.
and they're shooting floating boxes at each other.
It looks like an air hockey game where you put too many pucks on the table.
Here's what I hate about this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even remember exactly the specifics of it, but why Yoda decides to go take care of Palpatine. Because Yoda's off on some planet with these things called Wookiees that is this, like, bizarre diversion.
Whole other episode.
Even for this movie is really weird.
Other episode.
It is so weird.
I agree with you that it sets up literally nothing, accomplishes nothing. I have no understanding of why he would...
It makes no sense.
They're
It's
cool-looking creatures.
It's almost
though.
like he lost a bet. Like he had to put in 15 minutes of... It's a planet Kashyyyk, and it's these hairy...
Yeah, these Wookiees, including like a Wookiee called Chewbacca, who he like is like, "Hello, Chewbacca. It's nice to meet you. You know, we are great friends with you."
It's so... Okay,
It's so weird.
this is his own episode.
We'll talk about it later. This
But
is a whole other
he
episode.
keeps on calling out this one Wookiee by name.
This one who actually isn't even wearing a lot of shit. A lot of them have these crazy helmets and
Are more visually distinctive because there's signifiers. There's helmets and there's armor and there's hairstyles. This
this
guy's
guy
like
has
the vanilla.
one bandolier.
He's like the most vanilla of the Wookiees.
He's a hair guy. He's a hairy guy.
Kids are going like, "What's your name again?" Chewbacca. I will always remember you, Chewbacca. Chewbacca
And then
doesn't even
Yoda's
seem
like-
to help that much.
Yoda's
The other guy, the general, seems to be
Yeah, Tarful.
Tarful's the one who seems to really be helping, and he's on going
big.
like, "Thanks for everything, Chewbacca." And Tarful's like, "Are you fucking serious?
We'll get
I'm
to
right
that later.
here."
Anyway,
Own
Yoda's
episode,
like,
own
"All
episode.
right, Jedi's are getting wiped out. Whew.
Oh boy.
This is bad news. I'm going to go kill Palpatine. I'm going to go kill Sidious." They have this fight in the Senate. What I hate about this fight, apart from everything, is that it is so clearly designed so that neither can die.
Yeah.
Because Lucas has obviously decided that Sidious obviously can't die, and Yoda can't die either, for some reason.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why we have this thing with the Senate with them flinging chairs at each other, because otherwise there's no real reason for them to kind of like have a reason to break off the fight.
Sure.
The whole thing is so annoying, basically. It's sort of like a non-fight. Like it's
By the whole thing, do you mean this entire movie?
this entire series of films.
Right.
And it just drives me crazy. Anyway, that's the last swing someone gets at Palpatine.
Yes. And then Palpatine for the rest of the movie is just helping Anakin become Darth Vader. I mean, he essentially sets Anakin to kill off everyone who
Yeah,
he's
he's
been
like-
using to help him in the rest of the
Anakin
last two
shows up
films.
and is like, what should I do? And he's like, go to Jedi Temple, wipe him out. He does that.
Nemoidians, kill the Jedi.
Then, yeah, Anakin
kill
shows
Grievous.
up, what should I do? And he's
Yeah.
like, no, he doesn't kill Grievous.
No, but I'm saying all he's doing the whole film is going like,
Knocking
kill
down every...
Grievous.
Yeah.
Kenobi
Tying up
kills
all the
Grievous.
loose ends.
Yeah, but it's all the people he's used to help him get to this point.
Grievous dies.
Yes.
Which
Which is more Dick Cheney. I mean, I guess this movie's saying that he's Dick Cheney and that Anakin is George Bush.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. It's fucking sloppy.
The Nemoidians die and all the other separatists. The
Yeah.
separatists get wiped out. And Dooku obviously dies early in the movie. You know, so
Yeah. Bail Organa survives.
he squeaks by.
Yeah.
Now, Bail Organa is still in the Senate, though.
Oh, yeah.
So there's this implication that he's going to kind of keep the Senate, but it'll just be like a sort of a rubber stamp, I guess is the idea
Yeah.
for his policies. It's sort of weird.
I don't know.
I guess just to keep everything in line. Because Organa says something like he's going to need the Senate to run things, even if he doesn't like it.
Yeah, quick sidebar. Last week, I talked about the young Jedi boy who saved...
Yeah, the Lucas kid.
Right. His character's name is Zet Jukasa. Do you know what his real name is?
What?
Jet Lucas.
His name's Jet.
Yeah, like a jetpack.
Like John Travolta's kid had it. John's son.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Jet.
Jet.
That's you're doing the Paul
Yeah, I'm doing
McCartney
the Paul
song.
McCartney
It's a good song.
Yeah.
I had a friend in high school named Jet, and we would sing that whenever he walked in the room.
It used to be my phone
stuffed in
ringtone.
our friend. Really, it's a really good
It's
song.
a good phone ringtone because it's like dun 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 is how it starts.
Jet.
Yeah.
Okay. Sidious saves Anakin from the lava and turns him into Darth Vader and this and that. Merchandise spotlight.
Well, yeah, and we should say the film ends with his 100% complete and total triumph.
Mhm.
If there's a real protagonist to these movies, you could argue that it's him, in that it's like he's the only character who accomplishes all his goals, ends
Yeah.
on a high note,
Yeah.
and at the end he's looking out, they're building that thing. What's it called? Death Planet?
Killer
Killer Star?
Killer ship.
Yeah. and he's just
Definitely a
like,
killer star.
Anakin is with him, but Anakin's all messed up, and he's in this robot suit.
Yeah.
A couple of the Jedi survived. Okay, Obi-Wan, Yoda, but
He should be the lead character of this film.
he's almost the lead character of this film. He does have a lot of breaks, though.
Watching only his scenes reminded me of how many scenes he is not in.
Yeah,
And what a waste those
I know.
scenes
You could have him in more scenes.
It's really...
He should fight everyone.
It's a delicious performance. It's an interesting character.
He's having a lot of fun with it.
It's the only interesting arc throughout the 3 films.
No!
But it's the only interesting arc, but it makes you wish that episode 1 was him training under Plagueis.
No!
Right? Don't
Yeah,
you wish?
sure. What? Fine. Yeah.
And
have
then episode
Plagueis.
2 was them
But
finding
he's the
Anakin.
Phantom Menace.
I know. Anyway. Merchandise spotlight. In 2005, for the release of Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
Burger King did 2 series of promotions. Because one for the home video release, one for the theatrical release.
Okay.
And they released a lot of what one would call super deformed toys.
In the super deformed line.
I think it's not politically correct, but it's a Japanese name, SD, for like when toys are like very stylized, almost like caricatures of how the characters actually look. They make toys that are more cartoonish and caricatured. So I did like 2 series of that where they had like 30 different fucking toys to collect in like different sections, and they were grouped into different things. And so they made 2 of them. One here. This was in the first series. This is Emperor Palpatine. So it's you see, like huge head, right?
Oh, I see.
He's like 90% head.
Yeah, he's basically head, a couple of hands.
2 big hands stuck
sort of
together.
Stuck together and pointing palm out.
Yeah.
And then a hood.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a classic Darth Sidious as we know him from Phantom Menace, where you can't really see his face because the hood's coming down so low. But it's like, okay.
And you got some characters we all recognize in this series. You got Obi-Wan, you got Padme,
You got a
you've
plush
got Jar
dactyl.
Jar,
Yeah.
you've got Chewbacca and Tarful.
Yeah. Now, all these toys had features. What would you assume that you're making Emperor Palpatine, you're going to get in Burger King, he's got his hands out. What would you assume?
Lightning.
This is? No, he shoots water. He's a water gun. He's a little water, but it's not.
Look, they didn't. Yeah.
It's not because it's not structured. It doesn't have that much.
What if he
force
shot
to it.
water in the Mace Windu scene? He's just soaking Samuel L. Jackson.
David,
Like,
that's why I'm bringing this up. He's in the kind of position that he was in.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of water squirts out. It's just like a little spritz. Okay, so then this is the other one. This was like the post-transformation.
Oh, here he is. He's got a lightsaber in his hands.
right.
He's
and
got red eyes.
The red
and-
robe,
yeah.
the red eyes, the mushy face. What do you think this one does? And once again, super deformed.
I don't know. Just tell me.
It's a top.
It's
It's a spinning top.
spin him around?
Yeah,
I like
so
that.
you lift off like the top half of his body from the robes, and then the bottom half of his body is just like a top, and you
Well-
spin around.
What can some of the other ones do? Like, you've got Bail Organa here.
Yeah, there was
Like,
one.
what can he do? Can he shout no?
He's a he's a shadow caster, which means that we could talk about.
It
these a
means
little
if you put him in the sun, he casts a shadow?
I believe he projects, like he can project a little symbol on the wall. I think that's what he can do.
Anyway.
Like a bat signal.
How many of these toys did you own?
I didn't own any of them. I can tell you.
Oh, yeah, you were
I
not
had
really a
zero
toy person.
Revenge of the Sith merchandise. Jedi Wisdom, you can get a Kit Fisto or a Mace Windu that are like magic 8-balls.
Yeah.
So you like
They give
shake
you
them and then you look under their robes. and instead
Ignore
of seeing,
any pressing threats.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be that kind of advice?
Yeah, but you shake them and then you look, the window is at the bottom of their robe, so it's like you turn it around, instead of seeing a wiener, you get advice. You get life advice instead of seeing a wiener.
it'd be
It's
nice
like an
to see.
upskirt. You're doing an upskirt.
Now, this is weird, because all these toys, I recognize all these guys. You got your Padme.
Yeah.
You've got your Anakin.
Yeah.
You've got your Chewbacca. I don't know
Our
why
favorites.
there's so much.
Yeah.
Then you got your Yoda. You got Obi-Wan. He's old. Why do they keep doing this?
Maybe-
Old Obi-Wan.
Maybe it was a deleted scene. Maybe they thought
Yeah.
the movie was going to end later. Then
That's true. That's fair.
I don't know. I don't recognize this guy. This must be a background Jedi.
Yeah, it's background Jedi.
Like, I can't see this. This was done as a brain teaser.
All right.
So they like you were supposed to. This was the pamphlet they gave you when you bought a Happy Meal, and
Yeah.
you were supposed to fill in the letters to complete someone's name. And so it's missing letters, and it says LKSKWLKR. I have no idea who that is.
Anyway.
Letters missing, but I don't remember that character. Anyway, great promotion. Go out on eBay and buy all
Gotta
of them.
catch them all.
Here's a Watto you can wind up and he does backflips. This was from the first series. and there was a appropriately aged Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it says, "Look inside for a surprise." And this was also, the looking inside was looking up the skirt. You look up the skirt, and then you'd stick your eye to it like a kaleidoscope, and you'd see a picture from those movies that you love. Great merchandise spotlight. Butt picture. I'm Griffin.
We're just rapping?
No, I was going to intro. I thought...
Oh, you're Griffin.
Call an audible.
I'm David Sims. Yeah. Let's start over.
Yeah, welcome to Griffin David Present, Revenge of the Podcast. This is...
I feel like we've done like 8 comedy bang bang bicks on this episode just by mistake.
We're stealing a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you could call us a couple Palpatines over here.
Why is that?
Because we're bad. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
It's getting sloppy.
Look, I love what they do with this guy in this movie. It's my favorite part of this movie. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of logical plot hole, issues. But it's definitely my most positive part. My most positive reaction is to this stuff.
No question. I would say...
Well, what the hell, man? Why wasn't there more of him in the other 2 movies?
He should be the fucking main character of this trilogy.
I don't know. Anyway, it's just weird to make a 3-part saga with the end of the 3 parts is the lurking evil who has dominated events behind the scenes for 3 movies. It gets exactly what he wants, and everyone else gets screwed over.
I don't fucking understand. This is what I was saying last week. What is he trying to do? The bad guy gets everything he wants, and the good guy just becomes bad.
George Lucas is a pessimist.
He's a pessimist. And he hates passion, and he hates George W. Bush. Producer Ben, final thoughts.
So, talking about this character reminded me of the film The Devil's Advocate.
With Pacino, Keanu Reeves, Connie Nielsen, Charlize Theron.
So, this might be a little controversial.
Oh, no.
But
no.
I was just thinking, I'd love to see a Pacino as Palpatine.
Ugh, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be good? It's over the top.
He'd chew it up.
Power! Power!
Not from a Jedi!
So I would love to see that. We can explore that further.
It's interesting. There's not a lot of Italians in these movies.
No.
It's a very English-British sort of flavor the whole time. You could do with a little more ethnic flavor.
Yeah, I mean, Portman's one of the chosen people.
That's true.
Smiths is Hispanic.
He's Hispanic. I believe he's Cuban. I'm not absolutely sure on his heritage.
But no, it'd be great. This is the start of a new segment. At the end of every episode, let's pick a character and pretend that someone else played them.
Why didn't we ever do that before? That's great.
This is such a great game.
I know. Well, though, I've worked
from a Jedi.
Who's that?
Pacino.
That's
Pacino.
Pacino. Your old one was better. Your
fun.
first go round.
I tried to focus more on the pause in between and the physicality, but it didn't work because this is a podcast.
What's the last good Pacino performance?
Jesus Christ. Jack and Jill. I'm not even being facetious. He's really good in Jack and Jill.
All right. Well, apart from Jack and Jill, which I haven't seen.
Donnie Brasco?
You don't think Insomnia?
Oh, yeah, no, Insomnia. I love Insomnia.
I think he's great in Insomnia.
I do too. I just forgot about Insomnia.
I also think he's great in Angels in America, but that's technically not a film.
Yeah, I think he's a little hammy in that.
Yeah, but I think it's good hammy.
I think Insomnia is the last great one. And he's genuinely very good. I'm not fucking
No, he's great in Insomnia.
Trolling.
He's quiet.
No, I'm saying he's great in Jack and Jill.
Oh, whatever.
I'm not trolling.
Yeah,
he's great in Jack
trolling.
and Jill.
No, he's not.
Okay, so Pacino as Darth Sidious. Let's make it happen, people. And I don't know what else we have to say. Next week we'll hopefully have a guest. I know we keep on ending every episode saying we're going to have a guest, and then scheduling conflicts permit.
I know. Well, it's also because it's funny because I had a 20-minute, maybe half-hour conversation with Mike Ryan on the corner of 65th Street and Broadway after we saw Carol at the New York Film Festival.
When was this?
When did I see Carol? 2 days ago.
Okay, yeah.
And in which he started like, "I'm sorry I couldn't make the podcast," and then he proceeded to talk my ear off for half an hour about Revenge of the Sith, and I was like, "Well, you should come on." Yeah. And he was like, "No, I'm going to come on anyway." It's crazy when this happens, isn't it?
We're going to get Mike Ryan on as a guest, and we have a lot of other great guests coming. That's one spoiler alert and a spoilerific episode of Revenge of the Podcast.
Yeah, next week, no spoilers.
Next week, let's keep it clean.
Yep.
We'll talk about the space holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll talk about something.
Yep.
We have topics. We got topics for days. We got topics falling out of our fucking pockets.
Yep.
Let's.
I'm tired.
I'm tired too. I don't know why I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's a tiring time of year.
Yeah.
The rains come.
It's
joints
the
get all
most
achy.
Tiring time of the year.
No Christmas music.
It wasn't. It was a Tire-ween song. You know Tire-ween, the holiday where we all get tired? Tire-ween? Okay, well, thank you for listening. Please subscribe
Oh my god.
and rate. I'm literally, I'm melting. My forehead is turning into butt cheeks. Wrinkles are appearing all over my face.
This is a goofy episode. It's good because last week we were really kind of bummed out by the end.
Yeah, did you listen to it, though?
No, it's good.
Yeah, it's great.
I know. It's great. We're great.
Sometimes I think these episodes aren't good, and I listen to them. I'm
Sometimes I'm like, what did we even talk
I know,
about?
and
And then I listen back and it's like, no, it's fine. It's probably all Ben's editing hand.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I cut out a lot of stuff
Yeah.
from last week's episode.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
It's crazy, though. This, like, literally is the best podcast of all time.
Is it crazy?
It's not crazy. No, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay, well, we're monsters. Thank you all for listening. Go see Hotel Transylvania 2. Support character-based animation.
Yep.
And as always, cross your fingers. Colin Trevorrow never gets to make a Star Wars movie.
No.
No! Do it!